The Nez Perce lived in the Plateau region of the United States. Their original territory covered the canyon areas of the Snake, Clearwater, and Salmon Rivers in what we now know as Oregon, Washington, and the state of Idaho. The tribe originally called themselves Nimi-Ipu, which means the people, but when the French came, they renamed them Nez Perce, which means pierced nose. Funny enough, very few of these Native Americans ever pierced their nose, but the tribe is still known as the Nez Perce today. The Nez Perce men and boys wore long fringed buckskin shirts and leggings. They also wore belts and breechcloths and moccasins. They were known for their feathered bonnets, which were also common for men to wear, and during the colder weather, men would put on bison skin robes and gloves. The Nez Perce were known for adorning themselves in things such as beads made of shell and bone and porcupine quills. Women and girls would wear long skin, belted buckskin dresses and knee-length moccasins. As well, they would use vegetables and mineral dyes to make the clothing more colorful. The women would carry their babies on their back in what was known as a cradle board. Cradle boards were made of thick twigs and covering of soft animal skin that was also adorned in elaborate beads. The foods gathered and the game hunted varied from season to season. In the spring, the women would travel to the valleys to dig roots and crops. These roots included camas, bulbs, bitterroot, wild carrots, wild potatoes, gooseberries, thornberries, and even currants. Women would also collect pine nuts, seeds, and black moss to eat. In the summer, the people moved the village higher in the mountains to set up temporary camps. Here, they would gather more roots, but they would fish from the streams for salmon. They would also hunt for big game, such as deer, elk, moose, bear, mountain sheep, and goats. They traveled by horse to the Montana plains to hunt buffalo and antelope. The men also hunted small game like rabbit, squirrel, badger, and ruffed grouse. The Nez Perce were also resourceful with their living spaces. For part of the year, they lived in longhouses called kuhat-in-eat. The longhouse had a wooden frame covered with woven tulle mats. Tulle is a marsh plant found near rivers and streams, and some longhouses were over 100 feet long. There were several rows of hearths in the center for the families to cook their meals. The Nez Perce men made bows from horns of mountain sheep. The boys developed good hunting skills early, and the men trained and bred Appaloosa horses, like the one seen here. The Nez Perce became known as experts in the area of horse riding skills. Women taught the girls the traditional skills of cooking, weaving, and basketry. A corn husk bag, such as this one, would be woven from the hemp fibers that were important for the daily use and for trade. Ceremonies were held to assure good harvests, and music and dance were central to the ceremonies. People would play rattles, drums, and flutes. There were ceremonial songs and chants from births, marriage, deaths, hunting, and even for war. Like all tribes, the Nez Perce were a resourceful tribe. They used the sources that they had in their land for their clothing, their food, their shelter, and as well their family life.